So in a previous lesson, which was yesterday's lesson, we talked about tolerance. Tolerance is what's allowed, and then we talked about the minimum value that's allowed, a maximum values that's allowed, and that gives us a range of values that we can work with that would work. So today what we're going to do is the range of acceptable values for measurement can be represented in different forms. So what's allowed? The first one here is the one that we saw yesterday. It says the target value, that's what we're hoping for in terms of a measurement, but it means that we could go a little bit above, so that's why there's a plus, or we can go a little bit below, that's why there's a minus. So give or take, give with the plus, take with the minus, half of the tolerance. Okay, so that's what we talked about yesterday. Another way that we can represent an acceptable values is by just stating minimum and maximum. Minimum at the bottom, maximum at the top. And then anything in between would be acceptable. Okay, so that one's pretty straightforward. What about this one? Why does it say minimum value? Minimum value, that's the lowest value that we can have that would work. And it says here -0. So that means you can't go any lower than that, right? You can't go any lower than that. So minimum value 0 for to go down, but then you could go up the full tolerance. Okay, so you can add, but you can't go subtracting because you're at the minimum already. And then the last one, it says here maximum value. Maximum value, can you see here? +0, so that means we can't add any more, right? We've reached the maximum, that's why it's +0. But we could go a little bit below. Okay, that's why it says minus a value, minus a tolerance. So another term that is often used when expressing a tolerance is a term nominal value. Nominal value. So the nominal value is the value that is named in the question. Sometimes this nominal value is the target value, and sometimes the nominal value could either be a maximum or minimum. So what we are trying to get or hope for to get. So this means that the concept of tolerance could be identified as this: nominal value plus or minus a half tolerance, maximum, minimum, so that's the same. Nominal value plus a tolerance, nominal value minus a tolerance. So we'll take a look at some examples, and then usually it's best explained with a context or an example. So it says here, example 1. The diameter of a large pizza has a nominal value of 12 inches. Okay, nominal value of 12 inches. That's what we are, I guess, hoping for, right? Hoping to get. But, and then they're saying that, hey, this nominal value is halfway between maximum and minimum. So that tells us it's this form. So nominal value plus or minus half tolerance. Okay, because it's halfway. So they said the tolerance is 1 inch, and then state the maximum and minimum values of the size of the pizza. So yesterday we did this. Okay, this I'm gonna put that in a box. So this is our minimum, maximum. Now this is nominal value, okay, because they said the nominal value is halfway between the maximum and minimum, halfway between the maximum and minimum, in between.
Between the minimum and maximum, that's the 1 inch gap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. So our nominal value is 12, so I'm going to put 12 in here. Now the full tolerance, so that means the difference from minimum to maximum, there is a tolerance of 1 inch, tolerance of 1 inch. So the full tolerance is equals to 1 inch.
12, 5, 11, 5.
So that means halfway would be a half an inch, so 0.5. And this is another 0.5. So what does that mean? What is the minimum? So 12 minus 0.5, that will give us a minimum of 11.5. And then from 12 plus 0.5, it's going to be 12.5. And these are in inches. Okay. Is that okay? So we have the visual layout of these values in here, because we know that it's always halfway, plus or minus. Now I'm going to show you how to do that in this one as well. Nominal value we said is 12, plus or minus half of the tolerance, So half of the tolerance is 0.5, okay? Because it says here the tolerance is 1. Half of the tolerance is 0.5. So if you go 12 plus 0.5, that's going to give us the maximum, which is 12.5. And then the minimum would be 12 minus 0.5, that's 11.5. And that's all in inches. All in inches. Okay, is that good? So this one here, nominal value is between maximum and minimum. Are there any questions about that? Figuring out the middle and full tolerance, and then from there minimum and maximum. Is it okay to move to number 2? So let's take a look at number 2. The minimum height, oh, yeah, I see this all the time. So a minimum height for a child's ride at Red River X is 36 inches. So there's a requirement. Minimum height is 36 inches. The maximum height allowed is 48 inches. 48 inches. So they're telling us the lowest and the highest, right? And it has to be between those two values, because if the person is too small, right, they might fall off, whatever, for safety reasons. And if the person is too big, maybe they won't fit in the ride. So there is a requirement, height requirement for those rides, okay? So it says here, state the tolerance of the height requirement for this ride, okay? Write the tolerance for the height in 4 different ways. Now let's try doing this one first. We know it's a maximum and minimum. So minimum is 36, maximum is 48. Minimum, maximum. This is the nominal value. Nominal value. If the nominal value is in the middle, okay, let's start off with this one here. If the nominal value is in the middle, what do you think the middle is going to be?
40, no. 42.
42? Okay, 42? Okay. How do we know? How do we know that one? So we can go from here. Well, what's a full tolerance?
12 inches.
Okay. So we got from 36 to 48, there is a gap of 12 inches. 12 inches here. So from 36 to 48, there's a 12 inches gap. You can do that by taking 48, take away 36, 12. So if the full tolerance is 12, what is the half the tolerance? If the full tolerance is 12, what's the half of the tolerance? That would give us 6 and 6. Okay, so far so good. If the nominal is in the middle, what do you think the middle is going to be? So it's 36 from the minimum to go to the middle. We're going to add 6, so that's going to give us 42. And then add another 6, and that's going to give us the 48. Okay? So let's answer some questions. So this is the first one that we're going to do. First, state the tolerance of the height requirements. So the full tolerance is 12 inches. 48 minus 36 will give us 12 inches. And then we're supposed to write this in 4 different ways. So what's the 4 different ways? Just gonna go back here. The 4 different ways is nominal value plus or minus half of the tolerance. So they're saying if the nominal value is right in the middle,
42
then it would
plus
be,
minus 6 inches.
the first way would be nominal value 42 plus or minus half the tolerance, which is 6, plus or minus 6 inches. That's the first way. Now the second way, is just stating the max min value. Okay, well that was easy, right? Max min. So max is, we're going back and forth here. Max is 48. And then minimum is 36. So that's just writing down max min value. Yeah. Let's do the number 3. Number 3. What does a number 3 look like? I'm going to switch to the other side again. Let's make this sharp. Nominal value plus a tolerance minus 0. Okay. Well, if the nominal value is this one, and then we can't go down anymore, we can't get any lower, so that automatically say the nominal value is their minimum value, right? So the nominal value would be a minimum plus the full tolerance minus 0. So what's the minimum? Minimum is 36 inches plus the full tolerance plus 12 minus 0. So we're moving the nominal value here. We've moved the nominal value over here. 36. Now if this is our nominal value now, if this is our nominal value now, how do we get to 48? I had to add the full tolerance, which is 12. And then I can't go any lower than that, so that's why it's minus 0. Okay, so that's that piece. Okay. Last one. Have to focus that one. The last one says here, nominal value plus 0. Oh, that tells us we can't go any more, but we can go less. So if we can't go any more, that value, the nominal value, has to be the maximum value. So that's showing that this is now the nominal value. It's at 48 plus 0, because we can't go any more, and then minus 12. So 36 plus 12 minus 0, and then this one here is 48 plus 0 minus 12. Is that okay? So it depends on where our nominal value is. If it's in the middle, then it's this one. If it's at the beginning, then it's this one. And if it's the end, then it's this one. So far, so good. Are you okay? Very quiet, yeah? Let's take a look at the example number 3. Find the tolerance, the maximum and minimum. Oh, okay. So 2.5 hours plus or minus 0.5. What is the maximum? Let's start with the maximum first. What's the maximum?
0.25.
So it's going to be 2.5 plus 0.5. So if we add the 0.5, so that's going to give us 3.0 hours. And what's the minimum? 2.5 minus 0.5, so that's going to give us a 2. Okay. So what's the tolerance?
6 feet.
The tolerance would be, you're coming from 2 to 3. How big is the spread there? 1
hour.
1 hour. So 1 hour. So our tolerance is 1 hour. That's a spread of the values. Okay, let's do this one. Letter B. What's the maximum? Oh, this one's super easy. Maximum for B. Maximum is 42 centimeters. Minimum is 36 centimeters. And what's the tolerance? Tolerance is the spread, like how much space or how much is a measurement in between min and max. So you got 36. From 36 to 42, it's going to give us 6 centimeters. Is that okay? So that's for this one. And this is for this one. Let's do letter C. What is the maximum? Six feet? Yep, 6 feet. Yep. So you got 6 plus 0, that's just 6 feet. What's the minimum? $5.5. Yeah. So 6 minus 0.5, so that's 5.5 feet. And what's the tolerance? So tolerance is how far apart is the spread from minimum to maximum. So from 5.5 to 6, so that becomes 0.5 feet. Okay, so that's for letter C. Now for letter D, what do you think the maximum is? $25, yeah. 23 plus 2, right? Because you can go a little bit higher. So 25, that's grams. What's the minimum?
23.
Yep, 23. 23 grams because it's 23 minus 0. And what's the full tolerance? 2. Yeah, because it's a spread from 23 to 25. That means you're allowed 2 grams between the minimum and maximum. Is that good? Is that okay? Let's take a look at example number 4. And this is the last one. Manufacturing company has determined that the desired length of the part is 8 centimeters plus or minus 1.2. And then the tolerance is given in the form nominal value plus tolerance minus 0. State the nominal value and tolerance. So let's start off with this part. 8 plus 1.2 centimeters. So because it's plus or minus 1.2, that means the desired is in the middle. The desired value is in the middle. So this is 8 plus 1.2 plus 1.2 minus 1.2. Okay, because we have 8 plus 1.2, that's going to give us a 9.2 maximum. And then 8 minus 1.2 is 6.8. Okay, so this is going to be 9.2, 6.8. Is everybody okay with this piece? Because it's plus or minus 1.2. So we just figured out the minimum. We figured out the maximum. What's the full tolerance here?
I got a question.
Mm-hmm.
Example 1,
Mm-hmm.
tolerance was half an inch. But wouldn't that be 1 inch then?
Oh, okay. So, is it okay if we finish this one and then we can go back? Yeah. Okay. So, here we go. 8 plus or minus 1.2. So plus 1.2, that will give us a maximum. Minus 1.2, that's going to give you the minimum. So you get minimum, maximum. So full tolerance would be 2.4. 2.4. Is everybody okay with this piece? Yeah. Okay. Now they're saying, actually we're adjusting it. They're saying we're gonna adjust this and we're gonna express our tolerance in this form. It says nominal plus full tolerance minus 0. That tells us we can't go any lower, and if we can't go any lower, meaning we've adjusted the nominal value to the minimum value. Okay, we've adjusted the target value to be 6.8. So we've adjusted the nominal value to 6.8 plus full tolerance, so plus 2.4 minus 0. And that's centimeters. So when you look at this part here, this is all worked out. Now we can go back here and say, okay, what's my nominal value now? My nominal value is the minimum, 6.8 centimeters. And what's the tolerance? The tolerance is the full tolerance, which is 2.4 centimeters. So we can write it as nominal value plus the full tolerance minus 0. So that's this one right there. Okay, is that good? Okay, now I think we're okay to go back. Let's go revisit this one again. It says here nominal value is 12 inches, and which is halfway between maximum and minimum. So nominal value is here, which is in between max and min. And then they said the tolerance is 1, so the full distance is 1. So that gives us half in here, half in there. That's why we got 12 plus or minus 0.5. And then this part here, the reason why it's also 0.5, it's because it's plus or minus half the tolerance. Half the tolerance. So if the tolerance is 1, half the tolerance is the 0.5. Is that better, or yeah? So if you look up here, it's target value plus or minus just half of the tolerance. Okay, so that actually concludes the whole lesson.